can go and what you can do.
Indeed. Also, maps and compasses are not quite as useless as they are in the standard mode. The map tells you whether it is a crystal or a pendant dungeon if you look at the world map. Otherwise, you actually don't know that in Keysanity. Oh, and we're off, it seems. And we immediately get the fire rod in Link's house.
I believe that is the ice rod, actually.
Is it? Oh,
yeah.
wow. It's hard to tell with this, but, well, either way, it's a very useful weapon.
Yes, absolutely. In terms of progression, it is only required to defeat Trinex, the boss of Turtle Rock, but having it early is definitely better than nothing in terms of generally fighting enemies.
Yes, indeed. I actually recently learned that the Ice Rod one-shots those blue guards, even though it only freezes the green ones. It is indeed quite handy.
Wow, and a check to the uncle from Sigma reveals that he is holding on to the Power Glove.
Well, that's a really nice find very early on. Allows you to immediately start routing and picking up rocks for bombs as well. And it looks like DoctorBobtastic is heading into the Houlihan room very early, picking up his amount of rupees by jumping into the water and, well, basically shifting the camera just enough that the game does not know where to put you and by default puts you in that Houlihan room where there's a ton of rupees.
Swerb deciding to route to Kakariko Village from the bottom so he can take a peek at the race game ledge and finds only a piece of heart. It looks like an arrow upgrade in the library. So South of Kakariko is useless for now.
Indeed. So we immediately have pretty strong divergence from all the runners. So one of the most important things, as usual in Zelda Randomizer, is you need to get some form of a weapon. And there's a second key to Ganon's Tower. And usually your early weapons, the most reliable ones to get are bombs. You can see DoctorBobtastic picking up specific bushes. 2 of those bushes have a 50% chance to contain a bomb under them. And you may or may not be able to get those.
Yep, and as you can see from Swerb, having 1 bomb allows you to turn that into infinite bombs as long as you're willing to grind in this one house in the southwest of Kakariko.
Indeed, it's a bit out of the way, but definitely a good start if you don't really have any other options. Mikan decides to immediately head into the racing game before checking it beforehand, which in Keysanity I think is actually the better option most of the time. In this case, it's just a piece of heart, so it doesn't quite work out.
Yeah, one thing you have to realize in Keysanity is that there are so many more things that can be useful now due to the keys and big keys and maps being shuffled into the general item pool.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Any one item location is actually more likely to be valuable. So that sort of pushes the odds in favor of just rushing the race game without.
Indeed. I absolutely agree. So I think there was a key or something in the chicken house. I kind of missed that.
Yes, I missed it as well, but I'm sure we will see it again very soon because all of our runners are in Kakariko Village, coming at it from different directions. But we're going to see everything that's in here pretty quick.
So we will see Blind's house and also the bottom of the well right away. There's a bottle. Very nice to check sick hit right away when you are already in Kakariko. And the second 300 rupees that we pick up. And the bottle of a fairy.
And a mirror in the well.
Ooh, very nice. And the small key to Swamp Palace. Oh boy.
Oh, wow.
That one. So, yeah. One of the traps in Keysanity is if you're just kind of going by muscle memory, you don't necessarily realize that there is one small key that you need to get into Swamp Palace that is normally in the first chest. But in Keysanity, it can be anywhere. So
yes.
This is often one of the trolley items that you don't know where it is. And they found it right away, so that's really handy.
Yep. If you don't find the small key for Swamp Palace for quite a while, you start getting really anxious about it and wondering if it is in its vanilla location.
Yes, indeed.
It can be a source of major anxiety.
Absolutely. Also, Mikan threw the chicken all the way through the wall. That was pretty impressive. I've never seen that.
Well done.
Small key to Turtle Rock in the well as well.
Yep, there are quite a few of those. You don't really realize it too much playing the other modes, but there are a lot of keys for Turtle Rock, and you need a lot of them in order to get all the way through, because it's a relatively linear dungeon.
Yeah, you need at least 3 keys in order to get to the boss, but logic always assumes that you need 4 in order to get to the boss.
Yes, that is correct. So as we see Swerb leaving the village, the first one out. He's heading north to the Lost Woods, it seems, because he's sort of doing the reverse of the so-called standard route, where you would normally start from Sanctuary, go north, and check the Lost Woods first before the village. He did the exact opposite of that, which is interesting.
Indeed. So this kind of skips the check in Anxiety Cave, which, have we seen that yet? Or did I miss that?
I don't think we saw it.
Yeah, I don't remember it. The Lumberjack Cave, where you normally need to defeat Aghanim and get the boots in order to get the item out of it, can be a pretty trolly location too, because you can see a key there and you don't know where it is too, whether it's necessary or not.
Yes, and fighting Aghanim, especially in more recent versions of the randomizer, where his blue balls attack was restored, can be annoyingly lengthy play for something that you don't know is required or not.
Indeed. What's also worth noting is that Aghanim's tower now also has 2 chests that can contain items instead of just their usual keys, which also means in turn that if you need to go and defeat Aghanim, you have to find the 2 castle tower keys first.
Yes, it's an interesting new side effect of the keys being randomized, is that that dungeon is, well, it is basically a dungeon now instead of a really, really long auto-scroller. It's not an auto-scroller, but it feels that way.
Pretty much. Small key to Misery Mire. Interestingly enough, you actually don't need any small keys in order to complete Misery Mire, but I believe the logic will still assume you do.
Yes, because Misery Mire has a lot of locked doors to completely unnecessary areas due to the layout of the dungeon, so an uninformed or inexperienced player may end up spending keys where they have no benefit. So the randomizer logic is set up to prevent even such an inexperienced player from accidentally locking themselves out of completing the game.
Indeed. So, the back of the escape doesn't have anything, however, the mini Moldorm cave contains the hookshot for Swerb.
And the bow!
Whoa, the bow early is really handy. Although, in this case, you don't necessarily get to use it immediately in Eastern.
Yes, because you also need to find the big key, which again is not necessarily in Eastern Palace. So if you don't have that, you can't get to the boss to use the arrows.
Yes, that's a trap that I've walked into at least once. Just kind of got, oh, the bow, go to east. Wait a second. When I arrived at the big chest, I was starting to think, wait, that doesn't work that way. That's Keysanity.
Yes. It's one of those little things you kind of need to unlearn when you start playing Keysanity mode.
Yes, indeed. Also, Swerb apparently got the next tier of the triple, which ends up being 80 rupees total. He had decided to skip those, which I find to be slightly surprising because Keysanity, you're often kind of money-starved a bit at the beginning.
Yes, at the same time, though, he already has 610, now 635 rupees, which is enough for Desert Palace and Zora's item. And for the other mini-games in Village of Outcasts where you need to spend money, he will surely pick up enough money along the way. So I don't think he's hurting, unless he needs to buy potions later for any reason.
Yes, alrighty. Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't quite consider his money count. Sigma now also going at the mini Moldorm cave. Those can be a super trolley to try and defeat if you only have bombs.
Yes, and cruelly, the hookshot, which makes this room easy, is on the other side of that door.
Yes, indeed. Swerb makes already good use of the bow and heads into the front of the escape, where he will go all the way down to Zelda's chest area.
So Sigma makes it through with 1 bomb to spare. Mikan has a little more magic to spare than Sigma did, so he's able to use the Ice Rod to take out the Moldorms fairly easily. Will be rewarded.
Indeed.
Meanwhile, Swerb is diving the escape.
Yes.
Even though this is Keysanity, all the necessary key drops to get to Zelda Cell are guaranteed from enemies. So Keysanity does not change. Keys dropped by enemies are found under jars.
Indeed. However, if you want to... Oh, there's a lamp. That's very handy, actually. What I wanted to just say is that the one lonely sewer chest, as I like to call it, you probably want to check out from the front side, because otherwise you would need to find the backside key somewhere in order to check that one out. Mm-hmm. He does have the mirror in order to mirror out, and also the lamp that makes it... Ooh.
Mikan taking a death from the crab, but that's right. They found it fairly recently. So he's okay, but he probably didn't want to use a valuable item like that right here.
And I guess we get to see the drop. Alrighty. The stun drop in this game is a heart. So the stun drops in this game are also randomized based on, well, whichever randomizer seed you have. In this case, it is a little heart. Whenever they stun an enemy and then kill them, they will acquire a heart, which can be nice to know and also refill your health if you need to.
I'd like to point out that Swerb found the mitts in Zelda Cell, which is an incredible find this early in the game.
Absolutely.
I also believe he did not check the sewer chest from the front, and I don't think he has the key here.
No, he doesn't.
So despite finding the lamp, he decided not to go there, which might be a play. He might wait until he can route it in, say, with Aghanim's tower, but I'm not sure there was much of a reason to do that.
Yes, especially since they have mirror. He probably just forgot about it.
Yes, we shall see.
Or maybe he's gambling on it not containing anything. We don't really know that.
Okay, Sigma and Mikan are also making the play through escape, so they're going to pick up their mitts before too long.
And Mr. Bobtastic heading
Looks
over
like he's heading to Eastern. Yeah.
I wonder whether he thought, oh, let's go Eastern, kind of like I usually do, and he'll only realize later.
Yes. I mean, he might know exactly what he's doing. The big key is only required for the big chest and the boss. You can get everything else in Eastern, which I believe is 4 locations.
Yes, indeed. It's definitely worth checking out sooner rather than later. And back goes Azrala's house has small key to higher path. Huh.
Interesting. So that's the key we were talking about before. Not required, but it could make for an easier check in that sewer chest.
Indeed.
And it looks like Sigma was trying to death warp, but forgot he had a fairy.
Also forgot he had a mirror.
That's also true. Yeah, I think Randomizer just got into the mindset of death warping and then forgot they had the mirror, which makes this completely unnecessary.
Indeed. Mikan also picking up his...
Mikan remembered, though.
Yes, he did. So we're going to get to see what is in there.
Yes, and he is heading for the sewer. While Swerb and DoctorBobtastic are not too far away from each other in the Eastern Palace.
Basically just one on the other's heels.
Alright, so first chest in Eastern is a pack of bombs.
Not too exciting, although this early can be quite handy.
Alright, let's see what Swerb skipped. It's a key, small key to Misery Mire. Okay, so that's no big loss for Swerb. You don't need any keys to full clear Misery Mire except for the big key, but having them makes the routing a little simpler.
It does, but they already picked up 2 other keys to Misery Mire, so I imagine they are not much at a loss for skipping that.
Yes, that is absolutely true.
I like the sync with DoctorBobtastic and Swerb, just kind of crossover.
They are pretty much exactly in the same place.
So did they already find 3 bottles, it seems? That's quite the amount of bottles. I like them. They are nice safety items.
Mm-hmm. Especially since they don't have a sword and can't defend themselves extremely easily. Though having the hookshot helps a lot because it stuns most enemies.
Yes, indeed. Oh, and I think we get our first check into the Lumberjack Cave, too.
Okay, so DoctorBobtastic has found the map of Turtle Rock. At least Swerb picked that up recently, too. So I don't know if we discussed already, but the maps in Keysanity mode will allow you to see the end of dungeon reward for that dungeon on the map. Whether it's a pendant or a crystal and which one it is. So picking those up can be very important information for later in the game. And Old Man has the big key to Thieves Town. That's pretty important because if you don't have that, you can't get past the lobby.
Yes, you can get 4 reasonably quick chests, but that allows you to reasonably easily finish it, which is pretty nice. It's one of those keys that ended up being missing on one of my seats.
And a big 20 from the big key chest in Eastern, and since Swerb does not have the big key, he cannot continue.
Indeed. There is a magic cape on top of Spectacle Rock, and there is actually a small key inside of Spectacle Rock. So they will probably go and grab that one.
Yes. So it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see when our runners decide to pick up that key inside Spectacle Rock, because you can go into Hera, but maybe it's the small key to Hera, which I don't think they have yet.
No, they don't. They also don't have the big key to Hera, so they will be able to check out 2 item locations here, and that's all it.
Yep. One of them is a pack of bombs. And see, Mikan is opting to get the key right away.
That's actually an interesting point. I didn't even think about it. If it could be the small key to Tower of Hera, that would be pretty important.
And the second item is a big 20. So let's see what this key is. It's a small key to Dark Palace, so not an immediate benefit, but
indeed. But it's also
important
not
to have for sure.
Sigma. It's definitely very nice to have. And also, I believe Swerb decided to go and check out that lonely sewer chest from the backside. Or was that? I think it was him. Using that castle tower key, the Hyrule Castle key that you don't usually get to use.
Yeah, Sigma picks up his Dark Palace small key and is heading out.
Indeed. So at this point, they have checked out a lot of locations. I think there are not that many left that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, we might start... we need to find the Moon Pearl soon so they can start doing some Dark World exploration.
Indeed, with the Titan's Mist, they already do have access to it otherwise.
DoctorBobtastic is going to be picking up his lamp and his mitts from here inside Escape in a short time.
Indeed, and this will also allow him to more easily check out what is up on Death Mountain and also further over in the Lonely Sewer chest. Alright, we actually do have the hookshot. I kind of forgot about that. The East Death Mountain does have 7 chests.
It's a very important check here. So let's see what we're going to get. Just money in the first chest.
Indeed. And Swerb ended up dying. I'm not sure whether he tried to death or with the fairy as well.
No, I think he just got hit with the cabbage.
Yeah, those are vicious cabbages sometimes.
Alright, Mikan also making the East Death Mountain play.
Sounds good. I think that is definitely a very good play. Ether we have here for Sigma.
Yes, and right on time. He had the Moon Pearl, so now our runners have access to the Dark World through the Kakariko Village portal to the Village of Outcasts.
Yes, and also are already on top of Death Mountain here too, which is going to be quite handy.
Yes, with the hookshot, in fact. So there's a lot of places to check in the East Death Mountain because everything in Hookshot Cave is also available. So that's, I think, 8 locations open to them, including Spike Cave, which I don't know if they can do yet.
They actually still need the hammer for that one.
Yes, you're correct. That's something I forget sometimes.
Yeah, I actually tend to forget that Spike Cave does require the gloves. And just kind of get all the way to the end, to the rock, and there's just kind of...
yeah, that's even worse.
So, what do we see on the floating island? Ooh, a sword upgrade.
Wow.
Actually go and grab that too.
And I'm sure they're going to, because you don't want to be going swordless for any longer than you need to.
Yes, it is kind of interesting and intriguing if you have to go swordless, but it is much more convenient if you have a sword, and also faster overall.
Especially when they don't have the hammer to deal temper sword damage in an annoying way to most enemies.
Absolutely. At least the mini Moldorms can be easily dealt with the hookshot, which is quite nice.
So Swerb doing something kind of interesting, where he doesn't have the Moon Pearl yet, but he does go to the Dark World and sets a portal there so that he can check out what we call Super Bunny Cave in a quick fashion when he's done with this.
Indeed. I'm actually wondering whether this is faster, since the dark and light world transitions do take quite a while.
Yes, I haven't thought much about it myself, but I've seen plenty of people try it.
Swerb now picks up his ether and also his Moon Pearl, and he will be able to immediately go over to, well, the Death Mountain too, as in the Dark
Right,
World of it.
Super Bunny Cave contains the big key to Ice Palace.
Oh.
That's an important one to find. There's also a small key to find there, but the small key and big key are kind of independent of each other in terms of the locations they allow you to check.
Yes,
of course,
indeed.
if you can do the Ice Palace bomb jump trick, you don't need either of them to get to and defeat the boss, but you're going to need them to check some locations in the dungeon.
So, and we do get a check on Turtle Rock. It is Ether indeed. They already have the Ether medallion, so they don't need to worry about that.
Yes.
If they have to enter Turtle Rock.
One thing off their mind. I don't think either or any of our runners have checked yet, but I know at least one of them has a map to Turtle Rock, so they could be taking a peek to see what the reward is.
Indeed, that would actually be a good choice here. So Hookshot Cave ends up being completely empty, except for the sword that is waiting just outside.
Oh no, did Sigma just leave without picking up the sword?
Oh, he may have forgotten. He does go back to Death Mountain, maybe he just remembered.
I'm not sure if he ever checked it himself, but let's see what happens. Meanwhile, Mikan picks it up and is now armed.
I think he remembers. He's going back now, it seems. So, Mikan now has his sword. That is very, very nice. So it looks like most of our runners are kind of pretty much at the same location. DoctorBobtastic, having checked out, I think, the entirety of Easton already, is a little bit further behind, but he does have those locations checked.
But DoctorBobtastic looks like he's trying to set up a bomb jump. It's a very finicky one that allows you to get over that pit without falling in, but it is doable.
Yes, indeed. I think it uses the collision on the right side of the pit that gives you an additional little mini hop across the gap. It's a bit weird to set up. Oh, and Swerb doesn't have enough health to... Oh god.
Oh, whoa, that was close. I'm very glad it worked out for him, but yikes.
Nice.
Alright, he picks
Wow,
up the card.
that was well done.
Has he checked to see what the item on the island is? Because I don't think he got his sword either, did he?
No, it doesn't look like he went to the sword.
Huh.
Now he's heading over to Tower of Hera, which actually, that's kind of nice routing. That works out pretty well.
Yep. Certainly played out well in the order he decided to check things in.
Yeah, he does not have a sword. He is not using it on the crystal switch. So it looks like Mikan is now our first runner into the Dark World over at the Skullwoods, and immediately decides to head in. So I think Skullwoods is the one big exception in Keysanity, where that one chest on the right still has that key to Skullwoods too.
Yes, what some people call the joke room is still the joke room in that if you go into that room, that chest is always a small key because that's the only way you're going to get out without a save and quit. Because there's a hole that leads directly into there.
Indeed. I think he may not have had bombs in order to get it. I didn't pay attention to their bomb counts.
Oh, is that possible? The fire rod was found in Misery Mire by Mikan, which is it's a bit of an interesting place for it because maybe some people put off this check before finding the fire rod because they want to complete the dungeon in one go.
Misery Mire?
I'm sorry, Dice to Misery Mire at Skullwoods.
Oh, I was just kind of wondering, wait, did I miss something? Fair enough. So yeah, Skullwoods actually, that allows you to even complete the dungeon already if you're brave enough. With 5 hearts and just a fighter sword.
And green mail, even though like the most dangerous sources of damage in the fight ignore what mail type you have.
Yes, but you can still take 2 hearts of damage from the body of Mothila himself and all his attacks.
Yep.
Ooh, also the Skiptos deal a lot of damage. And they take a lot of hits if you try to fight them with a fighter sword. I think I would just kind of either freeze them or try to defeat them with the fire rod here.
He could also cast the Ether Medallion to instantly kill them.
Oh, that works. Nice. I was actually not aware of that. Learned something new again.
Yeah, it's a nice trick if you have magic to spare in the torch room of this dungeon.
Ooh, and Swerb is trying to stun the Gypto. That doesn't quite work.
Doesn't work with a hook shot. Too bad he doesn't have a sword to knock them out of the way.
Yeah, actually he will also not be able to finish the dungeon even if he wanted to.
Right, because he needs the sword to cut the vines that are in the way of the boss.
Yes, indeed. The boss himself doesn't require a sword, but you need to get through those vines somehow. And it looks like Sigma is already leaving after the first part of Skullwoods. He has no reason, or he probably does not want to go to the backside there. That seems scary.
Yeah.
Mikan heading into the
I don't blame him at
here.
all. We'll see if he's going to challenge the boss, but he's definitely at least going to check this first chest here.
Indeed. So there's just a bomb upgrade on the Bumper Cave. They did get the cape, so that might lead them maybe to Spike Cave as a safety item, or maybe in Ice Palace or various other locations, but it's not for Bumper Cave today.
Looks like Mikan is indeed going to attempt to fight Mothila, which is a brave play. We'll see if he can do it.
Yes, I wish him all the best. I'm actually reasonably confident nowadays with a hammer on Mothila, but just kind of fighter sword and no half magic with the fire rod is a bit sketchy. At least this early on. And Swerb using his knowledge there, bombing out the right wall and gets a full magic container for his troubles.
I don't see a lot of people go for that, but it can be a nice refill.
Indeed. It can also sometimes be a really nice way to fill up your magic for the first time if you haven't gotten anything else.
That's true. If you get really early Dark World access before you finish a dungeon, which has happened in this case, that's a nice easy guarantee that doesn't require anything but one bomb to do. Alright, Mikan giving us our first boss fight.
So I believe Mothila requires 8 fire rod hits, or that is 16 fighter sword hits, or 8 fighter sword spins. So, ooh, he gets hit there. But he's doing pretty well so far, so that looks kind of nice.
Yep, playing it safe, going for the hits when he knows they're going to count.
Indeed, when you push Mothila into the spikes, it's not going to count. Because those
just in time!
It's a crystal, they needed to get that at some point anyways, and now is a good time to get it.
Alright, so Sigma is exploring Thieves Town now. Let's see what he gets. A map to Thieves Town. He could go outside right now and see what the reward is. And I think is he going to do it? Or no, he's not.
I think he's just
going to keep going.
The long way around, so to speak. That is actually geographically shorter, but takes a bit longer. So yeah, that was... I'm not sure I would have gone into Skullwoods quite yet. I may have checked out T-Stone, etc. before. Ooh, nice. Bombos in T-Stone here for Sigma.
Yeah, it was a very confident play from Mikan to go there this early against a difficult boss that a lot of people have a lot of trouble with. And it's I'm very glad that he got through.
Indeed. Did Sigma not pick up his Thieves Town big key? Oh, that was in Eastern, wasn't it?
Yes,
oh wow,
it
there's
was.
the Thieves Town small key.
There's the small key. I think is he heading straight back in? I bet he is, but he's probably going to check out the other stuff here in the village first.
Well, the small key doesn't really get him anywhere. He would need the big key. I'm not sure he has it.
Oh, he did. Yeah, does he not have it? We can see next time he pauses the game if if our eyes are quick enough.
Oh, that's right. Thieves Town big key was at the old man, so he pretty much certainly got that in that case. He may have just forgotten that he had it already and is in the mindset of you can't go any further. Or he may just opt to skip it for now since he might not be confident in completing the dungeon.
That is also possible. Even with blue mail, 6 hearts isn't a lot of hearts. But he has 7 now, so that's something.
Yes. Nice upgrade. I mean, blind is definitely not a boss you, excuse me, can take all that easily. It's just a pretty rough fight if you get off script. So, yep. Well, we'll see.
Is he going to rescue the frog? He is. And
it looks like he's racing on a world tour. I wonder whether he forgot he doesn't have he has a mirror. No, he remembers. Just curious that he would take the frog on a world tour, not the blue chest, but at the same time, maybe he would like to go over there once he has the hammer or so.
Yeah, that's also possible.
DoctorBobtastic picking up his fire rod and realizes, wait, I don't have a small key to that door.
We gotta go the long way around. This room is really annoying going to it through it top to bottom when the holes are already there.
Yes, actually, in Keysanity, it is often just straight up better to go for the top chest first and then the lower one afterwards. Alternatively, you could also just mirror back to where you fell into the dungeon.
Yeah, so that's also kind of slow, unfortunately.
Indeed. Oh, he got grabbed there. That's unfortunate. Back to square one.
Yep.
Oh,
all right, so we're going to talk to the bomb shop guy. Swamp Palace and Skull Woods have crystals 5 and 6.
Yes, indeed. Actually, did not know that in the last Keysanity race. So that is very, very nice information to know.
Yep, normally in most randomizer modes, you can see what all the rewards are on the map, so talking to that guy doesn't do much for you. But in this one, it's very important information.
Indeed. And now we get some information about the Hype Cave. Just some maps and compasses so far. A bit of money. A small key to the Dark Palace.
Alright, it's good to have another one.
Bombs. Indeed, need at least 3 in order to get all the chests.
Yeah, so having lots of small keys to Dark Palace makes things interesting if you can get to Dark Palace, which I don't think our runners can yet. They're going to need flippers or a hammer to get there, or an egg.
Need to tag them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
which they also can't do because they need those keys.
Yes, that's actually an issue. But actually, the mantle allows them to check out the first chest in Agnim's tower, so that could be interesting if they think about it.
Mhm.
So Sigma is delivering the Frogsmith home, and I think
Yo.
Swerb is that's gonna tour.
Speaking, we were just talking about the flippers and pod access, and it turns out the Smiths have them.
Oh wow, nice. Water.
It's like, yeah, three of our runners have them now. Wow.
Indeed. Ooh. Just DoctorBobtastic is still need to go and claim his prize after freeing the little froggy.
So yeah, this is interesting. What I was talking about with pod is that every time you pick up a small key for pod, you're a little more tempted to go there, even if you can't finish the dungeon, because each one like lets you check out some more places, especially if you have the bow, which lets you skip that first small key door.
Indeed.
As long as you have the hammer, which I guess they don't yet.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Without the hammer, they couldn't skip that key door yet. So with 2 small keys, they have a maximum of, I think, 1 plus 2 plus 3, 6 chests available.
Which is still a lot.
Yes, indeed. Especially reasonably quick to get if you are over there, that is. So we're going to check out Hype Cave now as well, grabbing some compasses and maps and some more bombs.
Yeah, I see chat talking about Swerb skipping the sword on the floating island in Death Mountain. It is certainly going to hurt him the longer he goes without it, so I hope for his sake that there's another sword upgrade reasonably well accessible soon.
Yeah, that would be really nice. I imagine he will eventually find it, just kind of going up the Turtle Rock. But until then, that might just kind of be one of those locations that you should check. But do you remember? Oh, and I think we get our first check on the Lake Hylia Island. Just kind of
yes.
to grab this. We haven't seen any fake flippers, which is interesting.
Oh, there's the hammer.
Wow, holy smokes.
That was a good check from Swerb. So that's going to ease the pain of not having that sword, because he can damage enemies for tempered sword damage with it. Unfortunately, it still doesn't cut the vines in Skullwood, so he can't get to Mothula with it. But that's a big help for him for sure.
Mikan checking out the first chest here in Swamp. Wait, hey, he can actually complete the dungeon.
He can. He has a
hook
shot.
I realized that.
No big key, so he can't check the big chest, but he can do everything else.
That's actually, in my opinion, that would be it's a really nice place. There's a lot of chests in here too.
Oh wait, he doesn't have the hammer. Damn.
Oh no. I see. So he just checked the first 2 chests. Whoops.
Wow.
Right. Hammer was
and it is really close too. That's a little painful. Like, it's real close and Mikan doesn't know it.
Yeah, he doesn't know it yet. But I imagine he might be wandering over there soon.
Let's hope. He'll be a little annoyed at himself that he went to the trouble of draining the swamp around Swamp Palace and going in when he didn't need to, but if he checks it soon, he might go right back.
Possibly, yes. Actually, I think if you have, if you're in the vicinity, checking out that very first swamp chest is actually a pretty good move most of the time. It takes a little while, but it's actually not much further out of the way than other locations, such as Ice Rot Cave is about the same time, I would say. Just a bit unfortunate that hammer was so readily available, he just didn't know about it.
What's he gonna do? Looks like he's heading in that direction.
Indeed. And I think DoctorBobtastic is our first player who dares to go into Thieves' Town further.
Oh, what is Mikan doing?
Is he going to Ice Palace?
No, he's going to Zora's River. And unfortunately, out of view of Lake Hylia Island. So Swerb and Mikan in a second are going to find the Dark Palace Big Key, which is a important get, given that we know that Dark Palace is a crystal dungeon.
Yes, absolutely. That one can be a little bit elusive, but in this case, they found it reasonably quick. That's
All right,
nice.
so Sigma, who has a hammer, is going into Swamp Palace now, and he's going to be able to get everything except the big chest.
Yes, and that's probably, well, hopefully going to pay off for him. This is small key on the Zora ledge, so they will want to pick that up real soon.
So we'll be able to find out what it is soon after we purchase an item of unknown value from King Zora.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting whether this has any value, and it's just a heart piece.
Just a heart piece. But it is another heart container for Swerb, so I don't think he's too sad about it.
Yes, it also is a full heart refill, although after saving and quitting, that doesn't matter. But yeah, especially with low hearts early, that it could be worse.
Alright, continuing through Thieves Town is DoctorBobtastic. And a little bit of money, collects blind, and will be challenging the fight soon. He has 4 hearts, so if he's good at it, he'll be fine. But that's still a little bit scary.
Indeed.
Given that blind's most common attack, the fireball shot deals 1 heart of damage no matter what kind of armor you're wearing.
Yes, also he has no magic for the cape, unfortunately, so I hope that's going to work out. And worth noting that they just picked up on the Zora ledge the small key for Ice Palace, so
nice.
A logic you can now pick up quite a few more in Ice Palace, as in quite a few chests.
Absolutely. Uh-oh, it's looking a little sketchy. No. Does he have a fairy? Let's see. He does not.
No. Oh.
That's unfortunate. Will he try again, or is he going to leave? Yeah, he's going to leave.
Yeah, I think that's a fair move, because right now it's really difficult, and later on when he has a bit more health and equipment, it probably will be a lot easier. Or maybe just magic.
Was the cane just found in... Yeah, it was found in Swamp Palace.
Oh, wow. Well, that's a nice pickup.
Nice.
I don't think it has any immediate use, or... Actually, no, they could go and complete the rock right now.
Do they have the keys for it? Do they already have 3 small keys?
Well, Keysanity got me again.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know that. I think they have at least 1 or 2.
They have 1
so
small
they
key,
can,
I believe.
Just 1? Yeah, so they could go in there and pick some stuff up. That is definitely an option, and a legitimate one at this point.
Yes. Indeed. So it looks like... Oh, Mikan actually has really nice routing here. He has not been over to Sahasrara yet. And Eastern Palace is the green pendant we just learned by asking Sahasrara himself. So it's in its vanilla location.
Yes, that's very convenient whenever that happens, because you can go and get it, assuming that you can, and then just come right back to his house and deliver it. Don't need to worry about it. Just get it done all in one go. Swerb taking advantage of the stun prize, which he knows is a heart, to get a refill by stunning the skeletons before taking them out.
Indeed. So Sigma just picks up a small key to Skullwoods, which we know is really not necessary overall, unless you deliberately open the wrong doors, but for the logic you need to, I think, at least get 2 small keys for it to place any progression item behind it. So that's also a reason why some runners decide to just kind of skip out on the back portion of Skullwoods, or at least Mothila, until they find some more small keys where the logic could kind of point them towards that dungeon.
It's interesting sort of metagame you can play, trying to tailor your checks to what you know about the randomizer.
Yes, indeed. Also, it's worth noting, Swerb does have the big hammer, and they do have the small key for Thieves Town, so he will be able to check out the big chest too.
It'll be very interesting to see what's in there, and it won't be long before he does.
Sigma soon gets to the big amount of chests, just kind of in Swamp Palace.
Mikan's going to start finding some stuff in Pod here, too.
Progression all over the place, it looks like.
Here's hoping. Wow, starts right there with the flute.
But yeah, that's a pretty huge pickup. That will allow them to get around the world a lot quicker now, too. But only
and
for
with
Sigma.
the mitts, that lets them get to the Misery Mire area as well. And with the mirror, they can get to Desert Palace.
Yes. So Swerb just picked up a small key to Turtle Rock, which, unless they find 2 more and the original big chest is not required, that might actually be something that could hurt DoctorBobtastic, since he already got past there and is delivered blind without having the hammer.
It's probably going to be a little while before we know that. But we shall see.
Indeed. And Sigma starting the Fighter Sword fight against...
Ooh, yeah. As he just demonstrated, the Fighter Sword on its own is not enough to damage these little guys. You need to do spins, which do Master Sword damage, to kill them, or what some people do is menu to the hammer and get them in one shot by doing that. He seems to be doing pretty well with the swords, timing it so he gets 2 hits on every spin.
Yes, that looks pretty solid so far. What I liked trying to do sometimes when I'm
sorry to interrupt, but Mikan has found the silver arrows.
Oh, that's very handy in that location there. Just kind of when you would like to have them. And powder. Powder is very nice. It's a really nice safety.
The big key of Desert Palace. This has been a lot of value in a row for Mikan here.
Indeed, but there's also a lot of value for the other players here. Actually, with the Flute and King of Samaria, they just need the big key to Misery Mire in order to finish that dungeon.
Exactly.
And Sigma finishes off the big Kraken thingy, whatever it is.
$300 for his trouble.
But it's a crystal, so that was necessary and also quite useful. Well, actually, we knew that.
Yeah, we did know that because it's one of the crystals 5 and 6 that was told to us by the bomb shop owner.
So I think we get the first check into the Hammerpack Cave as well.
Just a compass, and he's not going to bother picking it up. The compass in Keysanity mode, by the way, adds a tracker beneath your rupee count when you're in a dungeon that tells you how many locations you have checked out of how many total there are in that dungeon. So it doesn't give you any new information like the map does. It's just a simple memory aid. And for runners that are experienced enough, they'll often decide to skip it because it doesn't help in any material way.
Indeed. Mikan also used his keys in a particular fashion where he ends up skipping the original big key chest and also the chest that is just south of the turtle room. But he gets basically most of the items out of it.
He gets another small key to Turtle Rock.
Well, we know the location of 3 of those small keys to Turtle Rock already now. With those, they could technically go and beat the boss. Just need the big key now. Ooh, and first check into Misery Mire area. Sigma, who has the flute already, and Swerb, who will soon pick it up as will DoctorBobtastic. Well, let's see what we find here. And it is Quake for Misery Mire. They haven't found that one yet.
Wow. Oh no, Bob is going to Swamp Palace without the hammer.
Oh, yeah.
And again, just like Mikan, he does not know that his so close to where he is.
Yes, indeed. There's another key to Dark Palace
Mhm.
that Sigma just picked up.
Grabs a heart container on the desert ledge. That's always helpful.
Indeed, kind of convenient to have just a little bit more health along the way. Definitely very, very useful this early.
All right, and instead of going into the dungeon, he's going to go straight to the back. I wonder if he's going to steal a key.
Yep, he steals a key, which may or may not be that great in Keysanity, because let's say it is a crystal dungeon and you need to complete it. You need to find now the small key in order to actually be able to beat the dungeon.
But it does get you some item checks early.
Yes, it does, which can be beneficial, but I'm always a bit wary of doing that.
Yes. It is not considered a legal move by the randomizer, so it's not going to put progression there that requires you to do it. But you might luck out and get a sequence break.
Well, let's see whether it pays off for him. Oh, and DoctorBobtastic didn't check out the Lake Valley Island.
That's too bad.
That will...
And he just doesn't know, though. That's the thing.
Yes, that will actually take him quite a while to get over there, even if he sees it on the island, because he has to go into the Dark World near the, well, Village of Outcast. Also, there's the fourth key to Turtle Rock.
So he traded his desert small key for a Turtle Rock one, which is a little interesting.
Someone did find the big key to Desert Palace, so I guess that wasn't Sigma in this case. Otherwise, he would probably have finished off the boss. Or, well, maybe. Who knows?
Imagine if he was going to do that, he would have just done it.
But here we have a big key too.
He needs to find the small key anyway.
Oh boy.
Yo, yeah, GT big key. So if you guess Checkerboard Cave, you win the prize. There's no prize.
Indeed. Now we can start counting location, and then it's like location minus 57 for the Mikan tower key.
Well, so given that they found two small keys for Gan's tower, so they're going to be able to just go straight up the tower once they've collected all 7 crystals.
Indeed, unless the swords are in super trolley locations, they don't have to check any other chests. Which, by the way, Swerb still doesn't have a sword.
Yes, that is a good point. They might need to find a master sword by the end of all this. Wow, wouldn't that be something?
It might very well be. I wonder whether Sigma makes a play towards Turtle Rock. Oh no, he has a flute, so that's a good flute location.
Yep, flute. When you have the flute, saving and quitting to the mountain cave is popular because you start very near the entrance, unlike Sanctuary, and you can get a quick and easy heart refill by talking to the old man there.
Indeed. So DoctorBobtastic finally picks up his hammer. That is going to be very valuable to him. Also, Sigma stocks up on potions. I wonder whether he plans on going to Ice Palace now.
That would be a good play. Or no, he's going to 3, so either Skull Woods or Seastown.
Yes, one or the other. Or, well, I guess he could also decide to go Catfish from here, although that would be a pretty long trek.
Looks like he's heading back down, so I'm guessing Seastown.
Yes, since he has the hammer now.
Oh, well, maybe not.
Mind.
So, where is he going? Is he going to do
hammer pegs?
Hammer pegs, yeah. I guess he hasn't done that yet, huh?
Yeah, well, I assume that's his first time in Village of Outcasts with the hammer.
Yeah,
which probably will make him go and complete Seastown. And Mikan picks up his Cane of Samaria just in the, I think that was the compass room.
It has been so long since I played vanilla Link to the Past that I can't remember the vanilla locations of much more than a few of the big keys.
Yes, actually, I don't know either. I just kind of hear people referring to various rooms as compass rooms and map rooms, so that's kind of where I picked that up. Oh, and I wonder whether DoctorBobtastic is going to make the play into the first chest of Aghanim's Tower. Nope. Well, he may want to just pick up the heart piece there. I don't blame him.
I don't usually like to pass up easy heart pieces if I have less than 10 heart containers myself, so
yeah,
I totally understand.
Worthwhile safety overall. And Swerb now gets to his, menu boss fight.
Yep. So he's going to be using the hammer, which does temper sword damage, so it'll take out the puffs in one shot. The annoying part is that you have to menu every time you want to kill one of them.
I believe it's a bit slower than using spins, but I'm not entirely sure about that. What is worth noting is that if you hold out your sword, or, well, in Swerve's case, his hand, you would actually extend your hammer hitbox just slightly, and it makes it reasonably simple to actually pull in 2 of those little puffs and then just one-shot them. Well, simple isn't the correct word, it's kind of tricky still.
Yeah, you do that menuing motion like over and over again, and you might accidentally mess it up.
Oh,
like
yeah,
accidentally equip the flute or something.
Honestly, doing the menu stack quickly is very impressive, and also, in my opinion, really difficult to just do really cleanly. He got it reasonably well, though, so that's nice. Decides to go with the fire rod. 4 shots with the fire rod, and Argus will be dead. He can get 2 shots in per cycle if he times it well.
It looks like DoctorBobtastic paid a visit to Catfish and found the Hera small key.
Oh, wow. They have been at Hera, but they also don't have the big key yet, so may be worthwhile a visit. It could be one of those trolley locations that you just have to go way out of your way to eventually get it, because they now have a fire source and the small key to actually get it now.
There's no reason it couldn't be the Tower of Hera big key, which is something, if that's true, that might go unchecked for quite a while.
Yeah. Sigma picks up his little key to Turtle Rock. He may have acquired by now 3 or 4 of them.
Right, Mikan's gonna get the flute.
And Swerb is just, I think, activating his flute. That way he will be able to fly around wherever he wants to.
It's having the option to fast travel makes the entire game so much quicker.
Yes, especially if you don't have boots.
Yeah, exactly.
And, well, I kind of missed it. What was the item on blind? I guess we get to see it again on Sigma's end. So far he's on script.
It's a pretty textbook fight so far.
Just slightly off, but looks really solid. He didn't take much damage, and you can probably just damage boost through everything if necessary.
If you go into the fight with enough life and you get the first 2 phases down, you can do whatever you want for the 3rd phase most of the time.
Yeah, it's pretty much just a big 20 on blind, so... Well, it's a crystal, so it was necessary either way.
So Mikan is opting to use spins, but he's switching to the hammer now because the dangerous part about using spins is that if you don't time it just right, the little puff might hit you and do damage, and he doesn't have a lot of life left. So he's going with the safer option of using the hammer.
That sounds like a good place. Also, if you I think if you mix up menu and spins a little bit, you can actually skip one of those swirly phases of Argus.
So, man, what do you think Swerb is feeling? Going on 1 hour and hasn't found a single sword yet.
Yeah. I mean, he checked most of the locations really efficiently, so I don't feel like he has any idea that he's missing out right now.
I mean, and you gotta, like, I have to say, of course, without a sword, he's still playing very well, checking a lot of places, moving efficiently.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is a sign of a good, experienced player. But unfortunately, there's some things you just can't do without a sword. So.
Yeah, such a Smothilla.
Yep.
Swerb is about to pick up his big key to, what was it? Ganon's Tower.
Yes, Ganon's Tower.
So also Sigma now with blue mail equipped and a fair few more hearts. I think he should be confident enough to best Mothula, which still isn't that easy of a fight.
And Mothula is very rarely an easy fight. I mean, sure, you can go in there with red mail and half magic and tempered or butter and a lot of hearts, and you can just mash through it. But none of our runners are close to that yet.
Indeed. Well, some are further away than others. And we also get a pyramid fairy check here from Mikan. They did get both the crystals 5 and 6, and that seems like a really good play.
Mikan going to not pick up the heart piece for now. Let's see what's in here. There's a sword.
Oh, nice.
And
a boomerang.
So, I mean, again, I said we wanted to find another sword upgrade, but unfortunately that sword upgrade is locked behind finding the first one, because you need the Skullwoods crystal to get there.
Indeed. So, Mikan also opting out of checking that one chest that they could check in Aghanim's Tower.
It's a bit of a time commitment for just one item.
I mean, it's actually only 2 rooms you need to go through.
Yep.
And they can mirror on top of the pyramid to not even have to go through higher.
That is true, yeah. That does cut out a lot of the travel time if you go to the pyramid and then mirror to the roof of the castle.
Indeed. And Swerb, I think he just stocked up on blue potions and such.
Oh, man.
He looks to go into Ice Palace. Well, good luck to him.
Yeah, again, it's again another brave play coming in here with no sword and no boots. The hookshot helps a lot because you can insta-kill the most dangerous enemies in here.
I really hope he picks up that sword soon, because he can't actually get the Outer Crystal 5-6 from Skullwoods because he doesn't have the sword.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to earlier, is that second sword upgrade is locked behind the first one, which is not good for Swerb.
I didn't realize that until just now. We get a powder check here too.
Yeah, this has not been seen yet, as far as I know, so pay attention.
Just a piece of heart in the first chest in ice. And
it's a big key. Big key to Turtle Rock. And we know Turtle Rock is a crystal, so that is a required item.
I'm not entirely sure how many keys he has. I think 2 at least. 2 Turtle Rock. He might be able to finish Turtle Rock right now, actually.
Yeah, but the question is, does he want to?
Well, I mean, maybe.
Alright, so Swerve's Swordless Ice Palace is going well so far. Again, making good use of the hookshot.
The Swordless Ice Palace is one of those dungeons where you realize how useful it is to even just have to fight a sword.
Exactly. A lot of the rooms are made a lot easier just by the ability to knock enemies out of the way.
Oh, and he decides to not do the bomb jump. I don't blame him for it.
Yep.
He does have the key of the Mario, so it's actually slightly efficient as long as they pick up enough small keys.
Yeah, and he does have the small key to ice. I'm pretty sure he has the big key too. So there's no need to do the Ice Palace bomb jump.
Indeed. Sigma about to pick up his Master Sword. That will help him quite a bit in progressing.
And going from Fighter Sword to Master Sword is a huge upgrade.
Indeed. So Ice Palace apparently is indeed a crystal. Mikan just checked it. Oh, and we finally get that elusive check on that first chest in Aghanim's Tower.
Right.
In my Keysanity seat so far, Aghanim's Tower pretty much every time at something of value.
Is that the first check we've seen of the Desert Palace big chest? Because it had the big key to Skull Woods.
Big key to Skull Woods, well, that could be something. Also, it turns out that it's just a single arrow in Aghanim's Tower. Some might call it value and validate it. Others might just kind of go, well, another arrow.
Also, Swerb, in his exploration of right side Ice Palace, has found the book. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a sword to use with it to pick up the items from the tablets, and he can get into Desert Palace anyway.
Yeah, so for him the book is unfortunately quite useless. He can check the tablet contents though.
The mushroom. The mushroom is here in Ice
gold.
Palace. Yep. Just trade it for an item and we have no idea what it is yet.
Indeed.
That may have been the best item find of the game and we just don't know.
Wow. It's actually really difficult to navigate those ice rooms without having the boots, but Swerb is doing a really good job on that.
Yeah, for sure. Ah, he finds the final mail upgrade.
Which is going to be quite handy, especially against the upcoming boss fight with just hammer and, well, probably fire rod. He can't even use the bomb boss. Oh, he couldn't even
Because
get
he has
into
no
the
sword.
rock. Yeah, he couldn't even get into the rock if he wanted to.
Right, yeah, I had not considered that, but that is true. Can't get into Turtle Rock unless you can cast a medallion spell, and you can't do that without a sword.
Yeah, that actually means he probably doesn't go up back there anytime soon.
Oh, you're right. That's not going to help. Oh man. It's like he's getting no hints to go up and go back to that area, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, he may remember that he forgot to check it, but just kind of hopes that it's nothing. We'll see. And we get the check into the Skullwood's big chest, and it's the Riot Shield.
Alright, so Swerb runs out of magic, but he has potions, so he prepared for this. So he's totally okay. Good thing he thought ahead.
Yes, absolutely. When I have only Master Sword, I like to just stock up on potion before going to Ice Palace. Because that's just kind of really rough to deal with if you can't dispose of them quickly. He did there, actually, a really good job. Nice, well played.
Picking up an arrow upgrade and a crystal for his trouble.
Indeed. So there was just, I think, only the mushroom in Ice Palace. Other than that, there wasn't really anything inside.
There's the mushroom and the book and the cane of Berna.
Oh, there was the... Wait, the cane of Berna too? I like that one.
Yeah. Ah, and red mail, yes.
Well, I guess, yeah, it's something. Not something I would immediately consider progression, especially not for Swerb without a sword.
And again, Swerb continuing to play very strong without the sword, just unfortunately not finding the sword.
Yes. So Sigma and Mikan decide to both go into Ice Palace more or less at the same time. So I wish them good luck in their adventures. I didn't pay attention whether they did stock up on potions.
Yes, but at least with a sword, Sigma will be able to cast Bombos, which eases the magic requirements in this dungeon.
Oh yes, absolutely.
You don't need to spend your entire magic bar on Cold Stare's first phase. Mikan, on the other hand, does not have Bombos, so he's going to have to be a little more careful.
Where did they pick up on, boss?
Oh, that's a good question. They found it fairly early, I think.
I can't quite remember.
Sports Happy in chat says it was in Thieves Town, and I believe that is correct.
Oh, alrighty.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for the information. It's always appreciated when we get some more input. Also, at that point, I would say let's shout out our trackers because they are doing quite a marvelous job here.
Yep.
So we currently have Number Play and Terminal Crowbar as our trackers here. So thank you very much, guys, for keeping track of what we probably miss most of the time, or at least me.
I mean, again, it's not easy for anyone to be keeping track of 4 races at once, so we very much appreciate it.
So Swerb about to pick up his single arrow. I hope he will be happy about that.
Maybe it'll be the one arrow he needs to defeat Ganon.
Potentially. He would still need 2 swords.
You never know.
So currently we are not going to see anything new, I don't think. I wonder where Swerb is heading to.
Seems some near sync from Sigma and Mikan. Unfortunately, Sigma got caught by the bunny there, but that's alright. Just take some damage to reset it.
Indeed. So I think at this point we are starting to run out of locations they could possibly check again in order to find more progression without diving into dungeons they cannot quite finish.
And it will be interesting to see who goes where in that case.
Indeed. I think they did pick up some more of the Pulse of Darkness small keys, but I'm not sure that technically unlocked any of the chests yet we haven't seen yet.
Alright, so we're going to see a witch check from Swerb. Turn in the mushroom he found.
That's very nice routing. He can just do this while also checking catfish along the way.
Absolutely.
And the mushroom turns into...
a compass.
Yeah, a compass. I mean...
The least useful item in the game in terms of progression.
I mean, it can casually be kind of nice to see how many items or locations there are still in there if you're not experienced yet, but I feel like all of our runners kind of know how many items are in which places.
At least even if they don't know that, they have an idea of where they've been. So
pretty much.
You don't need much of the confirmation.
He's going to fight Coldstare with Blue Mail, which he will pick up in this dungeon. So he has actually not picked up the other mail upgrade yet, so it's going to be a bit scary for him than the others.
He'll probably be fine though. Won't be easy, but he's shown here and elsewhere that he's pretty good at this game.
Yes, you could say that. And DoctorBobtastic gets his revenge on Blind using King of Samaria strats. I like those actually. King of Samaria is one of those weapons that just kind of has really interesting use. So Blind, for anyone who does not know, It doesn't matter how much damage you deal, you just need to deal 1 damage 3 times for each phase. That means 3 times 3 damage, and then Blind will be defeated.
Yep. All he cares about is if the weapon damages him or not. It doesn't matter which one it is.
Indeed.
You can use
And
swords, hammers, Samaria,
Just-
whatever.
Nice. He got his revenge. Very pretty. Also, I think one thing is worth noting that he did use a little trick there with his sword swings. He just spammed his sword slashes, and that actually drained the magic cape slower, which he used to his advantage.
Yep, there are a couple ways you can slow down the magic meter consumption with the cape. One is to swing your sword, the other is to grab onto a wall, which will completely stop the drainage.
So Mikan opting to use his blue potion in order to speed up the fight with the fire awesome further. I definitely approve of this.
Me too, absolutely.
Nice. Well, he just melted that boss.
No problem at all. It looks like Sigma is doing fine as well. Just got one more of the eyeballs to take care of. Oh, that hurts a little bit.
Don't die, please.
Yeah.
That is really close.
I mean, it probably hurts to use that potion, but yeah. It's better than taking the death.
Indeed. There's actually an interesting technique that I recently learned from, I think, GamerCal or Ebonitis told me about that, where you can use the Master Sword beams in order to just kind of double them up as fire roll attacks.
Yep.
You can just use them like that. It's pretty interesting. I've never really seen that before. I started looking into randomizers some more.
Yeah, I learned that via the randomizer community too. I have not been able to pull it off myself yet, but if you can do that, that can let you break open Coldstairs' shell with half the shots.
Indeed. So Mikan actually taking his first dive into Thief's Town. He hasn't been in here at all. He will be able to completely and fully clear it and also get his mail out of it and bomb boss time. Sigma opting to pick up a red and a green potion separately, since he doesn't quite have enough money for Has he been to Palace of Darkness?
Has he been there at all? I'm not sure. Oh, I mean, he has to have been there because I think Bombos was... No, Bombos was in Thieves. What was in Pod? That has been found already.
Well, a small key to Turtle Rock. I think he has been there because it looks like he's actually heading over there right now.
Oh, so yeah, so Pod had Powder and Net, either which he has, so maybe he has not been there. The Silver Arrows, of course, that's the important one.
Oh, that's a good point. So he might just opt to head into Turtle Rock with only 3 keys. I think he picked up the one from Thief's Town.
DoctorBobtastic's trying to conserve magic here and not burn up the Gibdos. It took a bunch of damage on the way, unfortunately.
Ooh, I hope he has some more potions, because that could be a bit sketchy. Yep, Sigma heading over to Turtle Rock. I'm curious how many small keys he has.
This will be our first dive into Turtle Rock that we've seen. It'll be interesting to see if he finds some early progression here.
And Swerb having to go the long way around in Palace of Darkness in order to reach this chest, since, well, he does not want to spend that small key onto the front door, so he has more to spend in the backside. I believe he does have enough small keys. They did pick up the Palace of Darkness, a big key, so if he decides to do the bomb jump and save one of the keys, not going for the other thing, he would actually be able to complete the dungeon.
He would still be missing one chest, I think.
Well, yes, the one that is just south of the turtle room.
Yeah.
What was that? I just missed it on Sigma's head.
Suits on the right side.
Apparently, there was a Palace of Darkness small key in Turtle Rock.
Ooh. Okay, so.
Also, Sigma does have 3 small keys. That means if he skips the big chest, as in the key, the chest that normally contains the big key, he will be able to finish the dungeon too.
Ooh, so Swerb pulls off the hammer jump.
Yes, that was. I actually only just caught that on the side. That looks rather smooth.
Alright, so the right side also has a small key to Gan's tower, which we know by now is probably not going to help. I don't see any way in which it would be required to explore the basement now that we have the Master Sword. So more Gan's tower small keys are not going to help.
Yeah, most likely not anyways. I mean, it could help out some of our runners if they are not comfortable with Master Sword Cannon.
It is true. The question is, are any of our runners going to explore the basement if they can get to Ganon with just Master Sword?
Possibly. Not sure. So actually the best thing I think that could happen to Swerb is that he forgets that he would need a sword in order to open up Turtle Rock. That way he would actually find the sword along the way up there.
That would be ideal. It's hard to say whether or not it's on his mind. Given that, again, he's always had somewhere more valuable, arguably, to go.
Indeed. So, Sigma picks up the small key here that always drops from this boss, and ooh, he decides to use the small key from the spiny. And finds half magic.
That's not a bad prize to be found.
Not bad, but he will be missing out on completing a dungeon, I think.
I believe you're right, because he could find a small key somewhere here, but
actually he couldn't, because we know where the 4 small keys are.
Oh, yeah, that's true. So yeah, he's going to be able to get to Mimic Cave at least, and he's going to be able to explore the laser bridge, but he won't be able to open the final door leading to Trinex.
So, and Swerb is doing what I hoped he would do. He's actually going to show us what King Helmasaur has in store for us.
Excellent.
I think we know it's a crystal, but we don't know which one. And that doesn't even matter. Which item he has, I mean. Oh, and the ether tablet check for Mikan.
Just a compass.
Just a compass. A piece of pie.
Well, Mimic Cave has a small key to Dark Palace.
Yes, that's actually 5 small keys to Dark Palace that we have picked up so far. So I think Helmasaur might have something for us potentially. Or that chest south of the turtle room.
Yeah, so we shall see in just a moment. Swerve delivering the silver arrow to Helmasaur King's forehead.
Indeed. Also, it looks like Sigma decided to just flute out of Turtle Rock. Did he not have the big key yet?
Oh, that's a good question. I thought the big key for Turtle Rock was found.
It was found, but I'm not sure he picked it up.
Hard to see. Hard to tell unless he pauses the game soon.
On the other hand, Mikan dives into Turtle Rock.
Yeah, he doesn't have it. He did not have the big key for Turtle Rock.
I see, which also explains why he went to that chest that has the big key in the vanilla game. Wow, I really checked his Sahasrara's house there from Sigma, but it worked out with his routing. Pretty good.
it's always a nice bonus to be able to use the mirror there and checks the hospital's house on the way.
Indeed, double bonus if you have the green pendant on top of it. Ooh, and
Oh
he loses
no.
the monkey. Those little wiggly bags are really annoying sometimes.
Yeah. They can jump in directions you don't expect, and sometimes, I don't know, in personal experience, you try to be real careful and get ready to smack them away, but then they jump just right and hit you anyway.
Yes, your sword swing just kind of lands right below. So Sigma actually has 5 small keys to Palace of Darkness. So unless he opts to skip the chest south of Turtle Room 2 and doesn't do the bomb jump, we are actually going to finally see what that chest contains.
Yeah, here's hoping. In one of the few locations we know that the runners can access, but they have not been to yet. So we gotta find something soon.
We have not seen Lanmolas yet.
That is true.
Yes, for anyone who has just tuned in, Swerb is still missing his sword, which is on the floating island up on that mountain, and he probably just kind of forgot about it or forgot to check that island. Unfortunately, right now, he doesn't really have any reason to go back up there. Maybe the small key to Tower of Hera could lead him up there. Which could, by the way, be a place where progression could be too.
Alright, so here's our first Landmola fight from Swerb, bringing out the silver arrows. Each of these will one-shot one of the worms and gets a pretty good 2-cycle.
Yes. It's pretty difficult to hit them. Also, it looks like we have another crystal.
Yes, it's another crystal, but I believe that is the third boss now we've seen that has dropped an arrow upgrade in this seed.
I didn't quite catch what he did. Arrow upgrades? Well, I mean, they do have silver, so it's not too terrible.
Alright. So with that, we do know the locations of all 7 crystals. So Tower of Hera is the remaining pendant.
That is actually interesting to know. So they might actually not get the big key to Tower of Hera before Ganon's Tower. So maybe they want to check out that chest in the basement sooner rather than later separately. And we will probably also get to see more of Total Rock now through Mikan's eyes. In the meantime, I always say DoctorBobtastic, that doesn't quite make sense. He picks up his literature, his book. Difficult words I can't pronounce, book is way easy.
Alright, so Swerb, is he going to notice that sword? Yes.
Oh, there he is. I think he actually knew that he forgot to check it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So, probably a few things going through his head right now. But now he knows.
He can actually go, I think, all the way in through Total Rock from his perspective too.
Yeah, again, he's been playing this very well for not having a sword. It's just, it's unfortunate that it took him so long to get it when it was available so early.
Yeah, I wonder whether he feels a little bit behind now, although he probably shouldn't feel too far behind because he did end up routing it other than that really efficiently. The only thing he couldn't access was Skull Woods.
Absolutely. So Swerb is finally going to get his first sword.
1 hour, 29 minutes, and like 25 seconds in.
Man.
When you get a sword so late, it's often easy to forget that you actually have one and just kind of keep using swordless tactics.
Alright, so Yeah, since last time we've checked in with Mikan, he has found Quake, which we know is the medallion that unlocks Misery Mire, which is a rather valuable dungeon in this mode, because, again, not a lot of requirements to get through as long as you can get past the first room, and there's a lot of items to check.
Wait a second. Does he even need to do that? I think they have all the crystals.
Do they have all the keys they need at this
Oh,
point?
the keys, of course. I don't remember. Hang on a second. I think technically we have no mode. So we know where all the things are. Oh yeah, well, we technically also have seen all 4 keys to Turtle Rock, so we can finish all the dungeons now, I think.
I think you're right.
People... Yeah, there's a palace was finished, Palace of Darkness was finished, Swamp, Skullboot, Thieves Town, Ice Palace, and also Turtle Rock now. So we are in Commentator's Go mode now.
It seems that way, but so opening Mire might actually hurt Mikan if he doesn't know where enough keys are to finish. We shall see.
Yes. So this is the difficult portion about... Mikan has to use an additional blue potion. Thankfully he has one, because he just ran out of magic on training.
Always hurts a little bit to have to use a potion because you only need one more hit with a magic item. And again, better than taking a death, or in this case, better than having to leave Turtle Rock and come back with a potion.
I absolutely agree with this. So this is the difficult portion where we know where all the keys are. Well, to an extent. I don't exactly remember their spots, but we have seen all of them. So, in theory, they should be able to just kind of go and rush through the rest of the dungeons. Mikan needs a second sword at least in order to be able to go through. I wonder whether he will even check the Pyramid Fairy at this point.
Not Mikan, but Swerb.
Oh, yeah, excuse me.
Yeah. Again, that is true. Hopefully he does. Hopefully he puts together that Sword was available early, so Skullwoods was completable early. So the Pyramid Fairy might be a location that lots of other runners have already checked. So he might want to make sure that nothing was missed in there that would be helpful for him.
Indeed. Sigma trying to set up his bomb jump. It's pretty finicky. Nice, he got it.
Yeah, that was very well done.
I hope Swerb doesn't die. That looks a bit sketchy there. He does have powder, so he should be able to use it right now, especially if... Wait a second. Did he just use up a small key he shouldn't have?
I think that's exactly what happened.
Oh, I think
that's where those frustration flashes came from. Oh no!
Yeah. He now needs to go and find that last one.
Yeah, this hurts.
You're just kind of in auto mode, where you just kind of check every chest, because that is normal in other modes where you just are still looking for items not in go mode yet.
If you're not in go mode, you don't skip that chest in any other mode, but in this mode, sometimes you gotta do it. Or otherwise curse yourself on a big long hunt for another key that may not be easy to find at all.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Sigma is making his first check into Eastern Palace, it looks like. Also, chat people tell us Mikan is in go mode. I think it looks about right, yeah. He is just heading straight for the boss now.
Yeah, he's certainly acting like go mode. And looking at the keys he has, as best I can, it seems to check out. I think he's got all the keys he needs to finish everything out.
I think he was a bit too wary about not using his key on the main door there. Actually, he went to the right side in order to not use up a small key. I wonder whether he is still looking for something.
Maybe.
Or maybe he just didn't realize he still had 3 small keys that he could use. Swerb doesn't even have the big key to Turtle Rock, actually. Oh boy. So he will still need to find that one. So it actually was a correct play of him to check the big chest of Turtle Rock, just unfortunately, he will now need to find both this big key and the next small key too.
It does seem like I don't know. Either he intended not to check it or was hoping that there was progression there and was frustrated because it wasn't.
Possibly. On the bright side, this will most likely lead him to eventually check out the Pyramid Ferry after Skull Woods and get his second sword.
Yeah, we gotta hope he goes there sometime soon. Because again, having a sword is much better than not having one, but having a Master Sword is leagues better than having a Fighter Sword.
Yes, absolutely. He also has half magic now with the cape, and Master Sword cannon isn't all too bad, but still tempered would be much more convenient.
Mm-hmm. Because again, Ganon is immune to Master Sword slashes. If you have the Master Sword, you're going to need to spin to hurt him. And that gets annoying fast.
Yes, absolutely. So, assuming Mikan does have the big key to Desert Palace, he should now be on the verge on getting to his last dungeon. I wonder, who was it that stole a small key from Desert Palace backside? Because I don't think we have seen the small key yet.
I think that was Sigma, but I can't remember for sure.
Yeah. Also, Mikan goes back in. He is definitely looking for something still.
He just needs to finish Desert Palace at this point. Maybe when he pauses next, if he does soon, we can take a quick peek at his L2 keys and see if he's missing the big one.
Sigma now has the big key to Turtle Rock. That was at bat. It's worth noting that we know that Desert Palace is a crystal, but our runners might not know.
Oh, that is true. Yeah, we gotta think about that.
They might just kind of expect to maybe need still entrance to Misery Mire or the big key to Misery Mire, and trying to look for that just in case they do. Instead of gambling that Desert might just be the convenient next crystal.
Okay, so it looks like Mikan does have the big key to Desert Palace, so he can finish it. But again, if he doesn't have the knowledge, he doesn't know that he doesn't know that he can be in go mode. He can't really say he's in go mode if he doesn't know it, but he doesn't need to find any more items. He's in doesn't know mode. Wow, Swerb's gonna give us the pedestal check.
Let's see what's on there. Hopefully no small key to Desert.
Egging him halfway unlocked. So that is a Castle Tower small key. First time I have seen that text, though. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. Actually, I think in my second Keysanity seed ever, that was also there, and I tried to figure out a way how to get to it. You had to go onto Ganon's Tower in order to get something out of there, in order to be able to finally complete all pendant dungeons, and then you finally got all the way to Aghanim 1.
Oh man.
So Keysanity can be pretty crazy.
Again, just like every other mode in the randomizer, the items are placed so that you can 100% full clear the seed if you so choose. It's not the only requirement that you're able to beat the game. So sometimes you might have to go into Ganon's Tower to get something to full clear the game, even though it's not necessary to finish. Which is why it's so dangerous in Keysanity to open up unnecessary chests like that one in Turtle Rock. Because what if, right?
Yeah.
Again, it's not in this case. It wouldn't have happened because Turtle Rock is a crystal, but that's something you have to think about because like if you're doing that in a pendant dungeon, that might hurt you a lot.
You could potentially indeed. So, what's interesting to note is, as I said, I don't exactly remember who stole the small key from the backside of Desert Palace, but that's going to hurt in this case actually, because he will not be able to finish off the boss until he finds that small key to Desert Palace.
But it looks like Mikan might be making the play on Desert, or is he? Oh, he's going to Mire.
Mr. Meyer. I think it's actually Mikan who used that small key. I mean, I guess from his perspective, it could still be in Mr. Meyer that he needs to finish.
Yeah, he doesn't know, but I don't know. Maybe he was the one that stole the small key, and he knows he can't beat Lando because Lando would be a pretty quick check.
Yeah, certainly quicker than finishing off Mr. Meyer or looking through it the entire time. Also, our runners have so far not found the boots at all, so
That is true.
that's just kind of fast walking seed, or trying to anyways.
I think with everything we know that the boots are not going to be required, of course, because we don't need to be hunting for the Gannis Tower big key, because we already have it.
Indeed. There's another small key to Dark Palace, so by logic I believe that was required in order to beat the boss, so technically Mikan is following the logic right now. That was the last sixth and last key.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe Mikan will find the boots in here, and that'll be a help. He'll be able to get through Gannis Tower faster than other runners will if they don't also check. But he's spending time here.
Spending time indeed.
Oh, the map of Misery Mire was just found by DoctorBobtastic, so that was in the Dark Maze. And I don't think Mikan's been there yet, so wouldn't have been able to check.
Sigma using Kate of Burner strats in order to just kind of completely avoid those lasers. I approve of that strategy. That makes it so much easier to just walk past those lasers, and probably also a bit faster for most people.
Yeah, and the nice thing is that there's a guaranteed magic refill right before the boss, so you don't need to feel bad about spending all your magic.
Yes, indeed. Oh, and Swerb is going to check the basement of Hera. I'm curious what's going to be done there.
Oh, yeah, interesting. Maybe we'll find another sword here.
That would be quite helpful for him. In the meantime, DoctorBobtastic picking up his favorite item, the powder.
I think it's a favorite item of a lot of people.
Yes.
Being able to convert the anti-fairies to regular fairies whenever you like makes the whole game a lot easier, especially in Dark World dungeons.
Yes, it is an amazing item. I really like having it too. Also, it looks like Simga did actually find all the small keys for Turtle Rock because he does have half magic and is fighting Trinex now. Small key to Desert Palace from Mikan now, I think.
Okay.
Considering that he mirrored out, that is probably... Actually, that might just be his last chest. Nope, he's going to Desert Palace now.
Oh, is he? Yeah, he's going to Desert Palace, alright. Thank goodness. Oh, but he's going to use it on the right side. What's he doing? Maybe he's not the one that stole the key after all. No, I've checked his item menu when he opened it up. He does have the big key here.
Oh, so he just doesn't know. That's curious. So he just doesn't know which one is indeed the last crystal that he needs.
Yeah.
Small key to Turtle Rock was there. The
All
one
right.
that...
Let's hope he goes to Lanmola now.
Uh-oh, he is packing
He's
up
not
the-
going to... come on, please go to 6. Come on. He's not going to 6.
He feels like he's missing. Did he check the checkerboard key for Ganon's Tower big key? That might be it.
Again, we can check soon when he opens up his item menu next, but I'm pretty sure he has it. We'll see.
Hmm. Also, I kind of missed what was in the Hera basement. Did anyone catch that?
I did not catch that. Is it a big 20? Alright. Seems appropriate.
Yeah, that's kind of what I usually find down there. No, it turns out Mikan was not the guy that stole the Desert Palace small key, so he's just kind of looking for something else. But he did pick
Yeah, I
up.
don't know. He does have that big key for Ganon's Tower. He did confirm that.
I wonder what he's looking for. He may have just forgotten that he has certain things. And doesn't realize he could look it up in the menu, maybe?
You know, like, even if he doesn't know that Desert Palace is a crystal, like that's a super easy check.
Yeah.
Which might put him in which might put him in go mode. So I'm curious why he's not doing that. So yeah, Sigma. Yeah, I think pretty sure that Sigma was the one that stole the big key in Desert Palace. He's going to get a second one here, which might put him in the lead.
Yes, actually, he probably, or potentially anyways, just kind of goes and completes Desert.
Huh. Yeah, I'm really curious what's going through Mikan's head right now.
Either way, Sigma is definitely on the correct track to find his Desert Palace small key. So that's going to help him.
Yep. It's pretty fortunate for him that it's here in in Misery Mire, which is really close to Desert Palace. So he'll be able to just go over there and finish it off once he's done getting the items here. Alright, so meanwhile, Swerb is making his way through Turtle Rock.
Also, it's actually his.
It looks like he's missing a key though.
Oh. Yeah, that's
he's missing a key, so he's not going to be able to finish the dungeon. Unfortunately.
I guess he hasn't checked. Wait a second. Wasn't East Side Desert Palace the Turtle Rock big small key?
Yeah, I think it was.
So he will actually have to go into Misery Mire in order to get that. And he just found Quake that allows him to enter Misery Mire. So, well, so basically by logic, a double dip into Turtle Rock was required to get Quake Medallion to get the small key into Desert in order to get the small key for Turtle Rock. So actually not skipping the big chest in Turtle Rock hurt the runners quite significantly here.
Yeah, absolutely. Serb's hoping he's going to find it, but we know he's not.
Yeah, not this time, unfortunately. Mikan looks a little bit lost, if you ask me.
I mean, again, someone in chat said that maybe he misclicked something on his tracker, which might explain his behavior here.
Yes,
I think
possible.
I think he doesn't realize what he has.
It's also interesting that he actually didn't realize that he could actually check Fat Fairy at this point. Oh no, he did actually. Never mind.
Yeah,
He already
yeah.
did. Derp.
Yep. Swerb, learning that the Turtle Rock did not give him the final key. He's getting angry at the wall and going to keep looking.
Sigma about to pick up his smoke key to Desert Palace, which probably will help him out quite a bit here. Actually, in Sigma's case, picking up that smoke key, or stealing the smoke key to Desert Palace from the backside helped him in, because he did end up checking out the big chest and got half magic from it. So, in a sense, he kind of did everything slightly out of sequence, but slightly faster than if you were to do it fully by logic.
Alright, so yeah, Sigma has go mode as far as I can tell.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, it's worth noting, I don't know if we've talked about it yet, but Misery Meyer had our third sword upgrade, so both Mikan and Sigma have it now.
Indeed. I actually was wondering where that was. Swerb about to pick up his second sword upgrade finally. Oh, it looks like we already have a first place finisher.
Yeah, Axebacher has just finished in first place with an SRL time of 1 hour, 51 seconds and 1 hour, 51 minutes and 24 seconds.
Indeed, that is quite a respectable time. Mikan is now back into the rock, presumably checking out the big chest since he does not have the half magic yet. Nobody knows what Mikan is doing. I feel like he might have just kind of missed something.
Yeah, Mikan's going to pick up half magic here, but yeah, I think he just doesn't realize that he's gone to Desert Palace, or doesn't realize that maybe he hasn't gone to Desert Palace. Maybe he doesn't realize he has the big key. But it's like, it's just right there waiting for him to go.
Indeed. So, Sigma going to defeat his landmollusk, and then finally he will be able to enter Ganon's tower, where we normally have a little guessing game as to where the Ganon's tower big key could be in one of the 22 locations, but in this case it's in location like minus 55 or something like that, since we already got the big key in Checkerboard Cave. And we have a second place finisher already.
Gamer Cal has finished in second place with a time of 1 hour, 53 minutes and 17 seconds, which is a 26-minute PB, 26.5-minute PB. Very well done.
That is very well done indeed. Seems like his routing probably worked out. DoctorBobtastic checking the Hera basement as well. I mean, I feel like that is a reasonable thing to do when you have to go up to Death Mountain to Turtle Rock anyways, and might as well. Yeah. There is Tempered Sword for Swerb. After he was swordless for such a long time, he just picked up both the swords there.
I'm sure he's happy about it.
Yes, that makes a lot of things a lot more convenient.
Having the Temper Sword allows you to one-hit KO most enemies in the game. Certainly speeds up a lot of bosses, especially Ganon.
Yes, absolutely. With the Master Sword, it's pretty much, well, impossible to complete the entire cycle in one cycle each, as in the entire fight, but With the temperature, that is a lot more likely and plausible.
Well, Mikan picks up his small key to Tower of Hera. I guess he's going up there next.
Probably. Yeah, he is looking for something.
We have a third place finish. We have Solski finishing with a time of 1:54.52.
Yeah, congratulations to all the runners that already finished. Keysanity is definitely no easy task to complete, to say the least. And we have a fourth place finisher with Kyong92 with a time of 1 hour, 55 minutes and 17 seconds. Congratulations to all of them.
Well done.
And for our 4 racers here, Sigma is the first one to enter Cannon's Tower. Let's see. Well, right. He doesn't have to go left or right.
Yep, he doesn't have to go left or right. He can just go. That's all he needs to do.
Yes. Some people mentioned that's probably their favorite aspect of Keysanity. They don't have to worry about Cannon's Tower at all.
Usually. I mean, we've seen one Keysanity race I participated in this series where you needed to go to Gan's Tower, defeat Ice Armos to get the big key to Dark Palace in order to get the Gan's Tower big key from Helmslur King.
That's pretty extreme, yeah. I believe we had a daily race recently where it was the legendary double dip into Cannon's Tower required as well.
See, Mikan has given us a little message.
Yeah, I wonder whether it gives us information as to what exactly is going on.
It says, I believe this says, "Just end me, dude."
Well, I mean, if he just stands in the tile, that will end at least his character, but I'm not sure that would be desirable right now.
Alright, so I'm told that in just a moment we are going to be switching this race over to Speed Gaming 1.
So that is Twitch TV/Speed Gaming without any numbers attached.
Yeah, no numbers, just Speed Gaming. So I'm not 100% sure when that's going to happen, but yeah, please follow us over when we do switch over.
I think we are actually already offline over there. As in, from what I can tell, Speed Gaming 2 is offline, and Speed Gaming 1, currently they just finished the race between Amazing Ampharos and TG8.
In the meantime, Korek has finished in 5th place. It's an SRL time of 1 hour, 57 minutes, and 21 seconds.
Anything below 2 hours in Keysanity seems really respectable to me, to say the least.
I agree.
Actually, just finishing Keysanity is really respectable in some instances.
In some instances. I think Keysanity is not as difficult a mode as it might seem at first, but it can take a while. That's the thing. You might end up needing to go through a more convoluted route, but it's not usually much more of a strain on your memory like, say, Entrance Rando is, and it's not much more of a strain on your execution as, say, hard mode or swordless is. So it's a very different way to play the game, but I think it's more intimidating than it is difficult, I would say.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. Also, I feel like Mikan finally realized what he is missing this entire time.
Oh, maybe he opened his menu, took a look, and saw that he has the big key here after all.
Yes, I feel like he was looking for the big key to Desert Palace and didn't realize he had it. That
We're
is probably
certainly
the
going to
most
have to
likely
ask him
scenario.
about it.
Yes, indeed. So Sigma is actually making reasonably quick work out of his dungeon here. He doesn't even bother checking any chests. Tempered sword is good enough, he says, and just moves on without checking anything.
Yeah, I'm sure that Tempered Scope's going to be fine. Gold Sword helps, but it doesn't help so much that if you're confident enough with defeating him with Tempered Sword that you really need to look for the gold one.
Yes, I do agree with this. So I feel like for Mikan it might have been a case of the thing he was looking for was hiding in the most difficult spot to figure out, and that was his own inventory.
Yep. Never expect to see it there, right?
Yes. Well, I mean, I've done that with Ice Drop before that I picked up 8 minutes into a run. And then 2 hours in, I finally realized, wait a second, I already have an Ice Drop.
Alright, so the 6th place finisher has come in as ACMLM, finishing in 6th place with an official time of 2 hours, 1 minute, and 3 seconds. GG.
GG indeed. So, Sigma here going on after Aghanim 2. He will be able to finish him off reasonably quickly. That seems like a 2 and 2 so far. Pretty solid. Oh no, never mind. The first one. Wait, I missed one. Whatever. He finished Aghanim 2.
Right. Well done. Alright, Almagus has just finished in 7th place with an official time of 2 hours, 1 minute, and 29 seconds.
Sigma about to enter the Ganon fight. I wonder whether he will get sniped by someone else or whether he will be sniping someone else. We will see. DoctorBobtastic, in the meantime, it's worth noting he is making his way through Turtle Rock. I think he has enough keys to complete the dungeon straight away. He did skip the big chest that does contain hard magic, so yeah, he will be able to finish it. Nice.
Skipping that chest pays off for him because he doesn't need to hunt for that last key. Alright, Hippos has just finished in 8th place with a time of 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 18 seconds, so congrats.